Welcome to the Baking It Down with Sugar Cookie Marketing podcast. We are your host, Corrie, the younger twin, who looks vivaciously younger, and then Heather, the old fart over there. If you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. We're actually a spinoff from a group on Facebook. It's the number one marketing group, I will say. Tooting my own horn.
We niche it down so many times. It has to be the number one marketing group for sugar cookie cottage bakers.
Yes, and it is specifically for shuggies for sugar cookie bakers, but it can apply to anything that goes into the oven. You can replace sugar cookies with cakes, with macarons, with cake pops.
Marketing's pretty universal. You could also replace a lot of what we talk about with cars.
For sure.
With the home services.
For sure.
But niching it down to sugar cookies specifically creates a very clear message.
And it's a clear message because that's what I bake for my clients most of the time.
And we're teaching a cookie class, which you started prepping for.
I have started prepping for it.
Booked out.
Yeah. One thing I did to kind of really... You got to realize everything you take on in your business and your bakery business takes a lot of time. So I said past me was looking out for current me, and I went through the 2023, 2024, and 2025 class kits and put all the cutters in individual bags.
Smart.
So that when it came time for this Easter class, I wasn't searching through endless cutters trying to find the bunny head or the pot with the bunny ears. It's already there. It's ready to roll, ready to grab and go.
Done. Moving into today's topic, got a few play on words here. I'm going to lob them at you.
There you go.
The title of today's podcast is Expound, Then Expand.
Explain
that kind of is a plan before you play or a walk before you run. Okay? So the concept is, in the world, specifically of the group we created, it's let's see what the best, fastest, newest, coolest product offering, class offering, thing you can buy,
what's trending, what themes are trending, what designs are trending. The group is great for that.
It's great for that, and it's a double-edged sword.
It is.
Because there are people who are like, yeah, I'm looking for a new product to offer. Let me see what's going on. And then there's the other camp that's like, I shouldn't be offering a new product, but I feel compelled or pressured to.
I'm just going to say hot cocoa bombs. When they became hot on the market.
Don't you dare attack the
HCBs.
If
you weren't making HCBs... God rest your soul.
Hot take. Hot cocoa bomb take. That weird who owns the name, the trademark of it, really did damage to that entire industry.
It sure did.
Neither here nor there. Yes, you can buy them anywhere. But
people were hopping on the hot cocoa bomb train right and left. It was going to be no more cookies. I'm just a hot cocoa bomb maker.
The concept makes a ton of sense. Yeah. You see these people coming in. They're like, I've made $1 million doing hot cocoa bombs. It's the 3 simplest things to get into. And you're like, why wouldn't I offer this?
Right.
There's a million reasons why you wouldn't offer it. And that's what today's podcast is. This is... If you're a big spender and you don't want to change, turn this off right now.
Turn it right
This
now.
is the anti-consumerism podcast, and we're going to go through kind of the main purchase items that we find are culprits to over expenditure and lack of sales, which leads to a dent in that bottom line.
It does.
There is a strategy in saying you need materials to produce, right?
For sure.
But there's the counter strategy is too many materials is actually a detractor, and it actually will create analysis process in the baker. In the baker and in your clients. But then to the other end, behind the scenes, what we don't get to see is these bakers are overrun with stuff. Storage costs. We see the invisible. We never get to quantify.
Yeah.
If we were like, for every square foot taken up by an unused package, it equates to 32 cents. We would be able to really, that could really help us. But that's not how it works, right? Because we put all of our cottage stuff in our cottage, right?
In our cottage.
It'd be different if we were like, hey, just kind of the same thing. We're going to talk about business bank accounts and why they're important. If you had a storage facility and that was full of your cookie stuff, then we could put this is how much it's
tackle
costing.
A number on it. It's $128 a month to have this
and if
stuff.
you don't have this stuff here, your business makes $128 more. But we don't see that when we don't have those storage costs, although they're there.
And I want to say, I had a WADA loss, a little bit of a WADA leak.
And I said to Corrie, what'd you lose? And she said some packaging. And I said, the Lord works in mysterious ways.
I know. And I said, you know what? I didn't even like that packaging to begin with.
So it was crazy that Corrie was never going to use the packaging. and it got waterlogged. She had to dispose of it.
So I didn't even get a chance to use it. I've taken a loss on that packaging. It's come out of my paycheck, my bottom line. I have lost the money associated with that packaging.
So the best way not to lose that money is to have not to spend it in the first place. And this is the intervention podcast.
Yeah.
We keep
you're speaking to me, man.
We moved this one really far from the vending money because of the peer pressure of buying. But it is important to have always in mind what the true cost of things are. You know, Absolutely. We have the initial investment, but then we have the second cost, which we talked about in another podcast, where the cost of the time you need to invest to learn the thing. And then we have the phantom cost, like the storage cost or the cost of just the weight of like, I bought those. And I
know.
And then if you say, well, then I'm going to resell them to recoup some cost, we still are operating at a loss per those packages.
Right.
And then shipping and stuff like that. The stress of managing, you go to these cutter buy sell trade groups, and I'm like, this is a full-time job to manage what people
just the
purchased.
Way they're laying out the cutters, and they have like 1, 2, 3, and you have to name. I want 4.
And people
2,
are like, where's this cutter? Where'd you buy it from this shop? I have a picture of it.
I know.
Okay, so we're gonna just rip into each one of these.
Rip off the Band-Aid.
Right. And then we're going to give you discount codes for most of these. One, backdrops, photography gear, right? Lighting kits.
I feel attacked.
I feel attacked too for you. I am proxy attacked in your behalf. Okay, this is not to say, because you're like, girls, every podcast you talk about photography is most important by your eyes. You don't need everything. Here's the thing. We got to understand that this podcast, we have to talk about a topic each week. That doesn't mean every topic applies to you. Same with sales. I'm a sales shopper.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, TJ Maxx got me wrapped around.
I'm a Maxxinista.
Yes.
Same with backdrops. Okay, let's say your favorite backdrop company, code Sugar Cookie at checkout to save 25%.
Yeah.
Is running a sale. Buy 3, get 1 free. This is just a made up thing.
Yeah.
Right? The inclination is to buy 3 and get 1 free. You got 1 for free, but you spent, let's say you were only going to buy 1. That was the one you needed.
Yeah.
That was the one that made all the difference, the matte white finish. But then the sale got you to buy 2 more, and then you got a 4th one free. We haven't maxed out on the first one to be considering the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th one.
It's so funny. And this is where I really I fall in love with the idea of things. If I had this, I could do X,
Who
Y,
am
Z.
I with this product?
Yes.
The person that I become when I have this is a different person than I am today, and I want to be that person. Here's my challenge. The Maxxinista challenge is to get the white matte finish. Yes, use code Sugar Cookie at checkout, 25% off. You bought one. You got the sale. You got 25% off. And then you say, with this one backdrop, the one most versatile one that they sell, I'm going to make my photography the best possible. And once I'm like, wow, this is
capped out.
I got it.
Yeah.
Then we can buy that 2nd one,
right?
Or that 3rd one, right? So it is easy to look at the backdrops and say, with this, I could take this photo, and with this one. But with that white matte finish, you can accomplish probably 85% of most of the photography
And I can tell you, the one I grabbed for the most,
white matte finish. But Corrie, I'll see you for the cookie class kids. She'll use these other ones. Yeah. But she's in a different place, right? And that's why people pay into the cookie college to get these class kits to get the photography is they don't have to pay for the backdrop. They don't have to pay for the expensive camera.
Right.
So backdrops and photography gear you can buy. And Corrie and I fell prey to this once. We needed a camera that did slow motion. And this is back when slow motion was harder to come by, right?
It was.
So it was our first company. This was out of budget. This was a big investment.
It was
the biggest investment.
It was sweating.
We found a refurbished Canon Mark
3.
Mark 3? No. We had the X1. Oh,
it was a Mark something. I know.
It was Mark something, yeah. But it had the slow motion capabilities. We bought it refurbished for $6,000.
Yeah.
The camera has so much more capability than we've ever invested into it.
Know.
Really, that camera is still so more advanced than our own skill set. But it's the thought. We need it for slow motion, so that's my excuse to myself.
But we have not utilized it to its utmost abilities.
We haven't capped out on the Canon before we buy the next one, right? So your goal is to invest. That initial investment, I'm always going to be behind. I think it's, I always said, like, don't fight your gear. When I went to that skydiving blip of my life.
You did.
They would put these, they call them boob goggles because they came to a point.
Yeah.
They were universal goggles to protect your eyes from the fall, but they would touch girls' eyelashes and it made it really hard to see. But the instructors had these really cool helmets that fit around their face and it was really nice and everything. And I was like, wow, if you guys let the people trying this out use those helmets, more people would stick around.
For sure, because you were having a bad experience.
Their photos look better. They have boob goggles on. And 2, it was not fighting your gear. So, but here's the thing. That don't fart your gear, so invest in the gear, has a limit to it as well. You could buy an airplane to jump out of, and you still know better at, skydiving, right?
Yeah.
Same with backdrops. What camera can we, if you've maxed out on your iPhone, I'd say it's time to say, hey, maybe I want to invest in a dedicated camera.
Right.
Which is the one that I'll spend the most time with? That I will learn the manual mode. I will understand ISO.
At the end of the day, it comes down to you and you know who you are.
The second cost, right? So it's easy. Like if I keep buying the nicer camera, my photography increases? No, because unfortunately the skills with that camera is what it is. So that's a lot of what we're going to talk about today. So you're going to say with the backdrops, well, I need to get better photography. Yes, absolutely.
Sure.
White matte finish.
That, to me, if that's what I'm using 85% of the time, and I have an incredible amount of backdrops to grab from that I have collected over the years.
So Corrie's already saying, I already bought them and you're still going to go back to white matte finish. Then you don't have to worry about the distraction of all those other stunning colors and prints and textures.
Yeah.
You're going to start here and you're going to work with this one until you max it out.
Right.
Maybe we could even get the brackets and get a backer. Now we got a L frame.
So you got two.
And we can do some a little bit more dimension.
Uh-huh.
And then we can work on colors, right?
Yeah. What a lot of times people fall in love with is, if I had this, X, Y, and Z would happen. But you fall in love with this idea, but the idea never comes to fruition because you get the backdrop, but then you never account for the time it takes to actually utilize it and put it into practice. So I'm a lover of packaging, and this is on the list.
Gonna get there.
I'm a lover of it. I fall in love with the ideas of, if I made personalized cookies for Easter, then I could use this packaging. Here's the thing. I'm not making the personalized Easter eggs for Easter. I have the packaging though. And I've had it for years.
And that was a problem with Corrie's water loss, her water intervention. Moving on, a great example is the Target trays. Now, before you look down your nose and scoff at the people who bought the Target trays, don't. Because you have your own Target tray sin, just rebranded.
Yeah. Honestly, I loved the era of the Target tray.
Target trays was like, what, 3 or 4 years ago?
Yeah, it was.
It's 2025, so it was probably 2021. So
Target, it was very, very cute. They were Christmas themed, and it was like
trays
that were divided into 6 different sections, I think. I recall.
You made some of them.
Absolutely. So I just brought one. I actually gave one. They have a Valentine's Day one. I gave it to the orthodontist. I was like, finally, I got rid of the last one. They gave it back to me yesterday. They're like, we saved this for you.
It's so high quality. So the Target trays is a great example of this because Target came out in the dollar section. They're $5 a pop.
Yes.
I thought they would knock any packaging offering out.
Well
it
made,
was so well
colorful, done. Branded, said
$5,
cookies for Santa. Yeah,
and it was very large, so it handled a lot of cookies, which meant this was going to be a big seller at big margins, right? Even though it was $5, it was still such a high profit margin because you'd be putting it with like how many cookies?
You could do like 20 cookies in there.
20 cookies in there. So we were talking about holiday platters.
Yes.
Where we can already upcharge for Christmas. We can already upcharge for this amazing packaging, which made it a perfect gift. And we have a ton of cookies we can put in.
Right. Yeah. The problem happened though is that bakers saw that it was going to be a hot seller. Instead of planning out that they could, at the end of the day, making 24 cookies, 2 dozen cookies will take you an X amount of hours, close to 8 hours, depending on the details. But bakers were going and buying out all of Target. They were buying 40 and 50 trays, not doing the math of what is 50 times 20 to fill up every single tray.
How much time it costs.
Yes.
Not only how much time, how many buyers can you source? Okay, let's say you could source 20 buyers in the Christmas season. Well, we still have 30 of these things. If you bought 50, of which some people were buying, it's a great example of hype driving the need instead of market driving the need, right? And I understand that there's that sweet spot between, well, I know I could sell 20 of these and there was only 15 available. Yeah. So I went to 2 Target stores, but there's the other consumeristic, if I get these, it wasn't a license to print money. And the big thing is like expounding before you expand is planning, writing out the business plan. How many of these can I physically store? How many of these can I physically sell?
How many cookies can I physically pack into them? At the end of the day, you have 2 hands in 24 hours.
Right.
So even if you're like, I think I could sell 50, that's great. Can you fill 50?
Yeah. So that was a great one where, well, let me buy it. And then, it was funny at the time with all the cards.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, I think Target was like, this is great.
Yeah.
But then it's been 3-4 years removed and I see people, hey, I need to get rid of these trays.
Yeah.
So, wow, you have held on to these because life changed. Maybe you are not doing cookies anymore, but these trays were not foldable.
No, they were
massive.
wooden.
They were heavy. They were wooden. They take up a ton of space. And it wasn't within your business plan. You expanded before you expounded.
Right.
You bought and then you thought.
Yeah. Like that. That's a good one. Bought before you thought. Write that one down, girl. Write it down. Down.
Before you thought. So, and then what happens when life is crazy? Life is unpredictable. The transience of cottage bakeries is native to the industry.
We have watched, me and Heather have been at this with the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group for the last 5 years.
I'm always surprised when I see somebody that started with us 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And they still make posts. I'm like, wow, you're a
rare breed
of what the typical baker is.
The amount of the industry turnover that me and Heather have experienced, because we've never taken a break. So we've seen these people come and go. Someone requested to join the group, and I'll let you in today. I'm working on it. And said, I was in this group a few years ago, quit, and now I'm back to it.
Right, so we're seeing we're seeing the returning.
I know.
And that's absolutely expected with an industry like this, especially one that had such a boom with COVID time. That people were like, okay, 2 years in, that's what I typically see is 2 years at the cottage bakery. And then it separates the kind of men from the boys. The person who was like, I'm going to make this a big thing, or that was my thing. I'm going to step back from it. So with the target trays, like the big takeaway is first find your audience and then stock up. And I know that's why pre-sales are so great. They're as good as they are bad. Pre-sales means you have to do the one. You have to make the one.
Yes.
And then you have to pre-shop it. You'd say to people, who's interested in buying this? And then you stock up.
Here's the thing. At the end of the day, if you know that you have not cultivated your audience to like pre-sales, you getting 50 target trays and you haven't cultivated your audience to,
you're going to be stuck with 45 target trays.
Exactly. So you can work now to get to Christmas and make them a pre-sale audience. My audience, I'm a custom cookie, give me a 2 dozen baker. So when I bring a pre-sale to the table, it is still a struggle for me because I'm so focused on customs. Custom orders, I'm booked out. Pre-sale still a struggle for me. I have not cultivated the audience.
Yeah. Well, you think about it this. If I know if Corrie's like, hey, listen, I drop these DIY kits. I sell 10. I only make 10 at a time. Then I'm going to be like, oh, I got to be on top of this for the next drop.
Yes.
Our little sister's really into Owala water bottles. And they do these specials where you stand in a digital queue and you try to get a water bottle that she's not drinking.
Yeah.
But she's very conditioned to look for their emails. Okay, because they cultivate an audience. You want this special design.
Yeah, they have.
We only have this many. Now she's like frothing at the bit.
Yes.
And that's a whole strategy that Owala's had to build up over time.
Yeah, but fantastic. It works for them now. But I'm sure the first day they came to market and said, all right, guys, you better wait for, it was going to be crickets.
Yeah, but they've continued it. Now Summer is literally like, can everybody sign into their Owala account and try to get me a water bottle? So yeah, find the audience first. If you don't have the audience now, it is only April.
Yes.
And you're like, well, you want me to find my target tray audience now? No, for whatever that product is that they're not conditioned to, whether it be target trays, who knows, or it's going to be these
pre-sales, teachers' gifts,
DIY
hostess
kits,
gifts,
cookie classes. All of this takes a lot of time to get your footing. I always say, people are like, I haven't sold any many classes. What gives? And I'd be like, how many classes have you taught? 1. This is it. Like, what gives is you haven't done this before, right? And the market takes a while to get up there. Corrie and I teach cookie classes, right? In the beginning, we would never sell out.
Right.
With a ton of effort, we could do it. But it was like, usually we always have 8 and we need to seat 10.
Yeah.
Sometimes 12 and then we'd seat 10, whatever. Now, the class that we're teaching in 2 weeks has been sold out since January.
Yeah.
And the class that we're teaching in August is halfway sold out.
But that is all because of the work we did years ago.
Consistent work over here. So now when we teach a cookie class or when I send an email or make a post, I said, hey, this will sell out.
Yes.
And now people are like, oh, shoot, I got to sign up now. People who are at our classes currently, they'll sign up while they're sitting there. But that has taken years of conditioning to get there. So with the target trays, you're going to find your audience. If you don't have that audience yet, you're going to cultivate it.
And before you buy the 50 target trays, you're going to sit down, you're going to math it out. You're going to say, I have 6 months before Christmas happens, before I need to start selling them. So I'm going to do the math of, I'm going to see how long it takes me to decorate one cookie. I'm going to multiply that by the 24 that need to fit in the target tray. I'm going to do some math here. It takes me 8 hours physically as a human being who also needs sleep.
Yeah.
How many can I physically actually make?
And then out of that, how many people will buy it?
Yes.
And then you can say, well, how am I supposed to do that now? Platters around the 4th of July, great way to kind of say, hey guys, I'm doing these kind of bigger orders. The pre-sale platter, bring them to your parties, and kind of cultivate that. It's easy around Thanksgiving and Christmas,
Halloween too. Yeah, parties.
Last day of school, anything of those big gifts where people are eating together. Okay, moving to this one, Corrie. This is her own altar call. She told me to add it. She said she would sing along with Amazing Grace. Cookie backers and boxes.
Love this. Love buying them.
So she's added here, start generic, then build your way to customs.
At the end of the day,
packaging.
It's your cookies that are selling it. The packaging, adorable. There are white backers that can be used for St. Patrick's Day, Valentine's Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and they can be used throughout the year. And when you pigeonhole yourself and get the one that says Happy 4th of July, you have one holiday to make it work. Otherwise, it will be sitting with you for another 364 days.
Some bakers may be like, but that differentiator, that's that packaging differentiator that makes me a little bit of a better option for people, and they're correct.
Okay, but I want to say, before we invest, I love the pre-made ones. I hate using my printer, okay?
Yes.
The printer one, though, is a lot cheaper, and you can make 2. If you sold 2, you can make 2. You can cut those up with your little slicer, and it's cute.
Not as polished.
It's not as polished. It's cute.
So somebody asks if you've ever watched if you're in the Cookie College and watched the class we taught, or see the pictures that we post from them when we teach classes. Somebody's like, where'd you get those custom take-home boxes? And we're like, they're not custom. Corrie put stickers on them.
I know.
To cut our costs.
Yeah.
So she gets these really generic white ones from Amazon as cheap as possible. We assemble them at the class, and then she'll put stickers on them that match the theme. It's a hybrid. It's not as fancy. Corrie, last year, a couple of years ago, I printed you off absolutely custom boxes for your bakery.
Yeah.
Cost astronomical.
Insane.
Storage of cost of boxes.
Still storing them.
Right. They're even flat.
I'm moving them around.
Right. Because they're so custom. And it says break for dozen
break
cookies.
seal if you love cookies. Mixing bowl cookie. They're
Which
adorable.
They already can't be to-go
Love
boxes
them.
because they have to have cookies. And they're a custom box. They're only a custom dozen box.
Yeah, which most people don't even order one dozen.
Let me tell you, they look fantastic.
Fantastic.
The price, but here's the thing. The incremental increase you can charge for that isn't as big as the cost. So here's what I'm trying to say. If the white Amazon cheapie box is $2.
Yeah.
Or let's say, what do you think? It's like $1?
It's 68 cents.
68 cents. Well, I did the math on Corrie's custom boxes. I think it came around
$4.63.
Well, did you just memorize these?
Yeah, it's every time I post those custom boxes, people are asking how much does it cost? I'm like, before you go dive in, let me explain what the cost is.
Okay, so 63 cents, you said? Mm-hmm. And then $4.68?
It's 68 and $4.63, yeah.
And
roughly a $4 difference.
We got a $4 difference. So we can say, well, I'm going to attach that to my price. Okay, that's something. But Corrie had a minimum order of, I think, 250 of these custom boxes that are meant for customs. Mm-hmm. That she can only put 1 dozen in. A $4 difference isn't going to hit the client so hard.
Yeah.
But how many clients are you going to find that fit with that box? With the Amazon boxes.
I know.
We use them Corrie uses them for people picking up. She uses them for the DIY kits. We use them for the take-home class kits.
Yeah.
That one is so cheap, but so much more versatile.
Yeah.
So again, it's that sweet spot between, I don't want to be the cheapest packaging out there.
Yeah.
But I don't want to lose all my profit.
I like that the mixing bowl custom boxes are for anything that I put in custom. If I got Easter DIY take-home boxes for the classes that were just Easter themed.
Super cute.
They would be adorable.
To knock everybody else out of the park.
But here's the thing. I'd be stuck with them for another year. These foam stickers I'm putting on them, $2. $2.
For the packet that fills up all 12 to-go boxes.
Yeah, all the boxes are covered.
So Corrie's got a 68-cent box. Or 63 cents. And then $2, but divided by 12, we have 10 people taking the class and 2 DIY kits.
Right.
So our packaging costs are super low, and our packaging is super versatile.
Yeah.
So the other option, if she brought those extremely custom boxes, I bet you don't use them sometimes because they're too nice.
If most people aren't ordering 1 dozen, if someone's getting like half a dozen, it's not priced right for me to use them.
Absolutely. So let's take them to class and give them as DIY kits. They're so customized, it makes no sense to even take them to class. Yeah. So you can see that there's that, like Corrie said, Everyone hates printing backers. I always say the number one question, how to make them grease proof? I don't think you do.
Whoever knows the secret is keeping
I think you got to take them to a printing company and have them.
Yeah.
And that's when you get to go to the Miss Cookie packaging and buy these fancy ones. But look for the more generic, the more wide open.
There's
options.
ones that maybe don't say Happy Easter with an Easter egg, but instead have a floral detail to them that screams spring.
We just took from one day and we gave ourselves three
we
months.
gave us more runway to use it, and that's fantastic. When we pigeonhole ourselves and buy all this packaging, and instead of buying the one pack that has 24 in there, we buy 3 of them because we love the idea that we're going to sell out.
But also there's a sale, buy 2, get 1 free. Oh, free shipping if I buy this
There's
many.
a rewards program.
Everything is designed to get you to spend more because we're all businesses.
Yes.
The same way you're trying to get your client to order that extra dozen, you got a dozen minimum order. The same, we're all doing the same thing. But it is that dangerous thing where you purchase before you plan and you're stuck with all this stuff that's so niche down that you can't even use it except for one time every year.
And God forbid you run out of time and you don't get to make what you had planned.
God forbid you get out of cookies. So I see in those cutter buy sell trades because who doesn't like a little window shopping? And I'm like to somebody like, wow, that packaging came out 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And now you're getting out of cookies and now you're selling this all at a loss because you can't sell it for what you bought it for.
Yeah.
Unless for some reason somebody really wanted it. It was discontinued.
Here's where I want to kick myself every time. Let's say I buy 2 packets.
Okay.
That's 50-ish backers. I sell an odd 42.
So you're left with 8.
8.
And it's not enough.
It's not
to sell.
enough to be like, let me go make these, but they don't make the backer anymore.
Let me tell you what Corrie does with these. They end up with Archer headed towards his
They're
teachers.
going to the danger.
And then Corrie will just write it off as a loss. But at least the teacher's got something out of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so then that makes a ton of sense. What I see some bakers do, especially in the cookie colleges, some of them will go in together on an order and split it between themselves. And that allows them to get the 25 that they need this round. They were able to save on, like some costs or get a discount or something. And that's hard to do because now you got to trust somebody to come in for it. But it works that way. So everything is working together. The big takeaway here is not bad if you purchased as long as you planned it out first.
Yes.
And I do like that kind of more generic packaging to really help allow you some flexibility.
Yeah.
Moving on, cookie cutters. The advent of 3D printing. The advent of 3D printing, it's cut a lot of cost of sourcing cutters, but it hasn't cut consumerism. Mm-hmm. So now it's easy just to print something. When in reality, if you're getting started, plaques are wide open.
Plaques are a great starter. You can put anything on a plaque.
Right, and you can decorate it. And then we get into the more customized stuff. But before there's a couple things. Plaques are wide open. Use what you have. Corrie will take the cookie class kit cutters, which there's always 6.
Yeah.
And she will try to repurpose them into custom orders.
Try. Yes, my hardest.
Yes. One time you did a whole set of the Under the Sea, and I was like, that was from the class.
Yeah, someone said I would like that class as a custom set.
Right.
Oh, I can do that.
But you can do that. You can say, hey, guys, look at this great stuff. I've already purchased these to get more runway, and I call it like cost per use.
Yeah.
The more cost per use you can get out of a cutter, the cheaper it becomes.
So when someone places a custom order with me and they're like, I really like this inspiration photo, I always tell them, I have just about every cutter to match something similar. It won't be exact, but if you want it to be exact, I can work that into the pricing.
Love that.
Otherwise, it'll be very similar.
And you probably wouldn't even notice. I think that passing that additional cost onto the consumer, letting them choose, because maybe they want the hyper custom thing.
And they can. And you're like, no, why would you pass that on? I have every theme imaginable. I can get very close. Right. If you need it to be exactly the same, hey, that's on you. But I can get so close that you wouldn't even know.
Love it. Okay, so the baker is like, well, I think the issue comes in with the I think if I buy this, I could sell a lot of it. Right
now,
not so much in the
silly goose is trending.
That is cute stuff.
It's adorable.
And it's tempting to be like, I want to sell the silly goose. Yeah. I think I could sell the silly goose stuff. I could be that baker.
That's where I am every single night, hovering over Etsy, adding to cart.
But the reality check is, do you have a theme, maybe not silly goose, that would still sell really well for Easter? Yeah, Corrie and I are teaching the Easter cookie class kit from 3 years ago. You'll never guess how many times we taught it. Every year.
We have.
It just, what about the people? Don't they want something new? They don't care. These are new people.
Yeah.
Every class has new people.
The problem is that bakers hear one person be like, well, I think I decorated this last year. You can't upend everything for the one person when 24 of the other people didn't say one thing. You're listening to the one bad thing and you were saying we gotta change everything. Everything's no, 24 were fine with it. If you do ratios, 90% were great. I'm not even sure that was correct.
No,
I'm not good at math.
99%.
95%.
It's a math.
Okay, yeah, I don't know, but a lot were happy.
What
with
was your
it.
numbers? I was kind of.
I said there was 25 people in class. 24 were happy. One was sad about the old class kits being reused.
4% were sad.
4%? Just 4%?
Yeah.
We had a 96% success rate
You
there.
passed a class. Yeah, that's a great point. Okay, remember, you're coming to the sugar cookie marketing group. What's our job? To see what's selling.
Yeah.
To talk about what's selling because Corrie and I have to produce new content all the time.
Yeah.
So I post these threads and I say, what's your best sellers for Easter? Bonus if you add the price. I love it. You guys are coming in. You're like, here's what I did. Here's what I charged. Here's how I sold. But then I see because I get pinged on every comment. People are like, oh, I really wanted to offer this year. How many did you sell? And I'm like, mama. That's their bestseller.
Yeah.
You are getting distracted because you want what they have, but you don't know their market. You don't know their marketing. You don't know where they're located. You don't know if they've sold these every year leading up to this year. So it's something people expect.
Yeah.
Those eggs in a carton.
Yeah.
Tricky. Nothing do I find in the trickles. Nothing do I find in the cutter buy sell trade groups like those cartons.
I know.
Bright colors, super fun. Specifically made for Easter.
Yes.
Niche product.
Niche.
Hand painted small eggs in a
mini
carton
eggs
that requires a paintbrush, the paint palette. Those eggs are little.
They're tiny.
And then a group of people who'd want that.
Yeah.
Over a DIY kit.
I know.
As icing.
I know.
Super niche.
I know.
Love it when people sell them out, but I think because they're so eye-catching.
I want to say a lot of people fall in love with the end result of other bakers.
Who doesn't? You did.
You made it look fantastic.
Yeah.
If I could make it look fantastic like you, I'd be so happy. I'd sell 1 million of them. But here's the thing. You fell in love with the way they did it. You fell in love with their end result.
I always say this. Okay, what? Bikini shopping season? Terrible time. And you see these gorgeous ladies who have a toothpick for a waist.
Yeah.
And then they have a butt. And then they're wearing these bikinis. And I'm like, I need this.
Yeah.
I think I'd look like that. And I'm like, girl. Is it her body or is it the outfit?
Right.
It's probably the body. So I'm buying for the imagination that that's what I would look like in this.
Yeah. So when bakers are coming around and you're seeing this thread that Heather posts, the thread is great to give you ideas in the future to see what's selling for others. It's great. Like, I saw a lot of two cookie packets selling very well. That's something I can store away in the back of my brain. But you've already locked and loaded what your offerings
It's not the time to use that as an aisle in TJ Maxx and browse. Peruse. It's the time to be like, okay, that's an interesting concept there. Let me keep an eye on it.
Yeah, let me maybe work that into my next big holiday.
I try to put them up about 6 weeks out from the holiday because it's
which is a dangerous time because it's far enough.
I said it's close enough that the people who are posting know what this sold for.
You've posted it and you've made your sales. And
you're producing them now. Yeah. But it's dangerous enough that people who haven't buckled down are like, oh, I'm going to sell this one. And then you have to buy a new product, introduce a new product, and you got the shortest amount of runtime.
I know. You have to think, at the end of the day, cutter shops also have to produce new things each year because someone says, I'm tired of offering the same old thing. I want to offer new things. So a cutter shop will produce something every single Easter, and it's the cutest thing since sliced bread. But you do have the thing from Easter last year, and you didn't get a chance to make it last year, and you still have it sitting there. It's never been used. So the cutter shop is just doing their job producing new cutters, but you've skipped over what you even invested in.
We're all producing because that's how the market works, right? We all have to keep producing. Corrie and I are producing new class kits. We'll talk about that in a second. Cutter shops are producing new cutter sets. Packaging companies are offering new products because that's what we have to do to stay in business. That doesn't mean it's meant for you every time you see it, although it feels like it is. Because why would you want to miss out on that?
We love it.
This will be the best seller ever. Yet Corrie and I are still teaching the Easter class from 2023.
I know.
2023. That's 2 years ago.
And don't get wrong. I think like, oh man, we're teaching that one again.
I even said like, I'd love to cancel that one and do this Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, right.
Be gone,
it's so easy to do because we're pummeled in our inbox, in our feeds, reels, your TikToks, in the groups. Everyone's doing the newest cutest little silly goose.
And you see like
that I really want.
Yeah, all this stuff. Those blinders do come in handy because there's that sweet spot. Again, I'm not going to say don't invest. I'm not going to say buy everything.
Yeah.
There's the buying, implementing, maximizing, and then reinvesting.
Yeah.
I'm big into the don't take on debt thing. Is this recording? I don't know. I had a thought.
Still recording.
Red dot? Okay. I don't know where he is.
Yeah, he's right here.
Yeah. And then so you want to buy, you want to learn, you want to maximize, and then you want to reinvest, because in this process, you've gained money.
Yeah.
You gained experience, skills, and money. And now here, this is paying for this.
Yeah.
And this should pay for this. What we don't want is the massive investment here and this is in my closet for 3 years here.
Yeah.
Because that is the worst feeling.
Right. Take us to the next topic, because Heather has a business bank account, and I think that one's a real.
The next one is sprinkles, but I'm going to interject that here. This isn't necessarily a topic, but this is why I think that starting a business, and again, it's going to be a little state specific, but you'll say, okay, I want to do this. Let me register with the state. When you register state, you're given an EIN number. It's your business's social security number. Mm-hmm. With that, you can turn to a credit union. We use Navy Federal. And you say, I want to open a business bank account. It says, okay, absolutely, super simple. What's your EIN? Right.
Yes.
So then you'll start that. And then I'll issue a debit card. So now we have our business banking. What we're going to do is separate personal spending from business banking. Your accountant will kiss you because that makes it a lot easier. What it's going to keep you, though, is on the straight and narrow.
It is.
Because you're not able to take Corrie money and buy it from Mixing Bowl, because you've just messed funds, right? You can't mix funds. You can't do business and pleasure at the same time.
Yeah.
So what happens, Corrie said, is having a separate business bank account means the business is funded by itself. Mm-hmm. We don't take money from ourselves and put it and mix it with the business. There's reinvesting, but that's a business reinvesting in itself.
A lot of times when I see bakers buying up all the things, I'm like, you're taking your own hard-earned cash, what the business has paid out to you, and you're spending it back on the business. You can't borrow from Peter to pay Paul. Someone's going to go out of business here. It's either going to be you because you ran out of money, or your business because it can't float the business itself.
Yeah, you're going to be floating it through credit cards or a second income. And that's still, you got to talk with your accountant, because you can't do that either. But what you want to do is have the business pay its bills, pay you, and then pay to reinvest in itself. So that means we're like, but I'm just getting started. That's exactly what that means. That means you're not buying all this stuff yet.
Yeah. Me and Heather, every time we started a business, we put in equal amounts. There's things as startup costs. Like, it's going to cost you some money to start a business.
I think with Sugar Cookie Marketing, the startup cost was a podcast. I think that's time, which we didn't bill for.
For sure, yeah.
But it was definitely, we said, okay, $1,000, and then we bought all the stuff.
Yeah.
The cameras, but.
Yeah. But then if it went kerpluffle, I can't keep paying Corrie money trying to make this work. I mean, I'm borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, and Peter's tired and penniless now. She's
That's another positive.
to go to bed. The thing is, when you mixed your funds, it's so easy to buy all the packaging and to buy all the cutters, because you don't know.
You're a smart business person.
You don't know, but you don't know where the money's coming from. When you have that individual bank account, and what you make is what you can pull from your profits to invest in more packaging, you're going to have like a come to Jesus moment. You're like, I don't think I can buy 82 of those boxes.
Right.
I think I can buy 10.
On the straight and narrow. Now, another layer on top of this. So having a business bank account, Corrie and I, because we're two, we have to do it that way. I think everyone should do it that way.
Yeah.
I think the business bank account and your money shouldn't even canoodle.
They should not.
Now, on top of that, our older sister works for the app You Need a Budget, YNAB. Mm-hmm. It's an acronym, WNAB.com. I use that, and it's an overlay. It's like an overlay on top of that just random checking account number, right?
Yeah.
Because it's hard to be like, well, some of this I had allocated for my packaging, and some of this I was going to pay myself. It's kind of hard to see it there. What you can do with apps like YNAB is it syncs with your business bank account, and every transaction comes into this app, and you categorize it. So it's saying, hey, last month you spent this much on packaging. Is that the goal? Then you create a budget. You create like a target.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, you overspent. Or you underspend. You actually have left over that you can reinvest this month. And that allows me to look through a lens of knowing exactly where the money is going. And I can also create goals.
Yeah.
So I could say I want it in Eddie, but I don't want to self-fund it. I want the business to fund it. So it's kind of like, hey, okay, that's $3,000. Every month you're going to allocate this towards that expenditure goal.
The great reason to have a budget, whether you go with something like YNAB or pen and paper, whatever is the best way for you to do it, is you have yearly expenses that we typically forget about for 364 days till it comes out again.
Annual registration, $50 in Virginia.
Website,
Monthly cost, domain,
Yeah.
yearly cost.
Right.
There's so many costs. QuickBooks has a yearly cost. Your insurance is a yearly cost.
Yeah.
Then you have the indirect cost, like
You have monthly costs, like Jotform is monthly. Your G
Software
Suite
cost.
is monthly.
Yeah, that's $6 here, that $10 there, that $30 there. It adds up tremendous. And then you're looking and you're gonna say, "Where's all my money?" But you got a closet full of packaging. You can't use.
Right.
So again, sweet spot. We need boxes. We want fancier packaging. But what can we do? What can we take? I think Heather Kimball Brookshire had said, I bought a bunch of bows. She's like, they're generic bows. I use them everywhere.
Yeah.
It's again that universal, that utility that you can use bows everywhere, but they're not bows with eggs on them.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
So again, sweet spot. Now, when your business is doing really well, or you say, I really want to make this, I really want to invest in these Easter themed DIY kits. Yeah, then we can do it. You absolutely, when there's money there, you're going to look a lot different.
Absolutely. You're never going to see me say, skimp out on the cute packaging if you can afford it. If it's in your bakery business budget, that's where I'm going to be like, yeah, do it. That's awesome. It's going to set you apart. We're all buying from the same cutter shops. We're all using the sugar, flour, and butter. So packaging is a great way to set yourself apart. It is fantastic if it's in the budget.
Right. I think it's important that the business is always in a healthy black and not a dangerous yellow or a alarm sounding red.
It comes down to just knowing your numbers, and it's
because it comes down to even knowing how much this order costs.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say we're using the custom box. Well, we just said that was $4.63. So we can't charge $2 in packaging. We have to charge our packaging cost. Now, has Corrie's cost ballooned farther than what her clients are willing to pay?
right.
That's dangerous as well. There's a point at which you overextended your market. Your price is too high. You're driving away business. And you hear on this podcast, raise your prices, raise your prices. We're not charging $1,000 for a dozen. Yeah. You can't do that either. There's that, again, it's always this sweet spot. Life kind of exists in the gray area, and so does business strategy. Yeah. So you can say, okay, this cost, this dozen. Let's say your cost of producing, pulling this out of my butt, cakecost.net, if you want to use it. Let's say it's $36.
Sure.
Okay, well, you're charging $78.
Yeah.
So we have a huge margin. Is every cost accounted for? Let's make sure we're really good. And now let's implement it as an incoming. If you use a budgeting app, YNAB, you would say, here's the money incoming. Then you go right to the budget tab and say, allocate this out.
Yeah.
And it said, okay, well, we're short on this and we're over budgeted on this. Now you can say, okay, let's say where I want to put my focus here.
Yeah.
How many more dozens do I need to sell to make my budget reconcile?
I posted a Instagram reel today. You can look it up on Trigger Cookie Marketing _ on Instagram. Here's the thing. She ordered 3 dozen cookies. Okay. If I would have used the custom packaging that I bought, that there is 1 dozen that fits in there, that would have been 3 boxes. That's $15 if we're rounding it up. $15 that would come out of my profits. There was not enough wiggle room there. So what I did instead was use the bakery boxes. Now we're back down to $1. I used 2, 1 for 2 dozen and a smaller one for the last dozen. And I got these little flowers that I was able to glue on there. It saved me a total of $6-ish if you did the math, but $6-ish that I didn't have to give her 3 of these custom boxes to fit them. She needed to take them home. Yeah. So I have to give her something to take them in, but I can do the math and math it out correctly so that my business isn't always taking a loss. Because a small loss every single order is going to cost you in the long run.
It's going to cost you your business.
Absolutely.
You can't operate at a loss. At the end of the day, you cannot operate at a loss. I don't care if you're new here, if your skills are, you cannot operate at a loss and be profitable.
Yeah. Sprinkles is the next one. I realized
I didn't realize this was a whole issue.
Use sprinkles. I don't use them except for DIY kits. Why am I collecting them?
Eyeballs. That's you.
Oh, I use those all the time. Those will be my ride and die.
In every class kit, it's like, I'm always like, give me eyeballs.
Here's the thing. Sprinkles are adorable. That's so stinking cute. And unless you're doing like cake pops and using them often on there, a lot of times custom cookie bakers do not use sprinkles on the cookies.
You know what? Yeah, I don't see that. You think cookies and you think sprinkles, but
you do.
It's not.
It's not.
But they're super cute sprinkles out there. And I see it kind of with the DIY kits. First of all, typically, DIY kits are going to kids.
Yes.
Right. And they're gobbling them.
They are.
And then you got these like super cute bunny
Adorable.
And carrots.
Yes.
Carrot sprinkles. And you're like, this is so cute. And it is.
It is.
It's so much cuter than the generic ones. But those white little pearls.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the word right.
Non-pearls, yeah.
Non-pearls.
Yeah, and
what
Jimmy's.
A weird name.
I know.
People who have sprinkle history. Why?
Here's the
That
problem.
will get you 90% of the way.
Sprinkles expire. I don't care what you say. They do expire and they turn
They
into
get
chalk.
hard.
They're either hard, they're chalky.
Those like big circles that are kind of iridescent, really cute. They're like big and they come in big and small stuff. Those will take out a tooth.
Yeah. So then you don't want to use that on an order because you don't want to get a bad review. So now you're stuck storing them till they approach their expiration date. Then they finally approach it and you're sitting there looking at them. I don't like them. They're expired, but why can't I get rid of them? It's because you invested in them and that pain of throwing money into the trash can hurts.
Yeah, like you are weird with PME sprinkles. You are like, they only get 2. So you get an extra one just in case it comes.
Yeah, I know.
But Corrie, then Corrie will be like, these are about to expire, give everybody 50.
So what I've had to come to tell myself is, Corrie, you like the look of sprinkles. You like the idea of sprinkles. You don't use them. They are a waste of money for your business. If you do not use them with reckless abandon, they will expire, but you have to store them until that point.
Corrie and I have decided we're in our hit pan era.
Hit pan. And explain what hit pan, because I didn't know not everyone knows that.
Who
but
do?
Someone asked me in the group, what does that mean?
Hit pan, I think it comes from makeup. It comes from the makeup influencer, and they like a product so much that they use the eyeshadow palette down till you hit the bottom of the pan.
Which is technically metal, so you like
so
see
you
it.
hit pan. Like if you can look at your eyeshadow palette and you start to see the metal reflecting, that means you really liked it.
You really did.
So Corrie and I said, let's channel our hit pan era. You have to hit pan on any product before you can replace it.
Yeah.
And before you replace it, you have to say, did this product fulfill the need at which it was supposed to meet? If that's a need, like it smelled good, great, that's the need. But if it's like Corrie had said, I hit pan on something. We're like, what is it? Oh, this magnesium lotion. I said, what does it do? And she's like, I don't really know. She came back a couple days later and she said, while I did hit pan on the magnesium lotion, I don't know that if it filled the need, and I have another lotion, so I'm not going to repurchase.
Right. At the end of the day, you can find the cutest little sprinkle things and you're like, I will only use this for a very special occasion. And that occasion never comes because it's so special that they were once in a lifetime buy. And I have many of those. But here's at the end of the day, if you do not use them, they own you. Okay? They own the space. They own your brain space. They own your storage.
The Edism, our grandfather Ed, late. When I was like 10, Corrie and I, Lisa Frank. Chokehold.
Loved.
Lisa, whatever Lisa.
Her folders.
And I know the documentary.
Yeah.
Apparently she was a bully.
Yeah, she was.
I think. But whatever Lisa Frank touched, so we got this packet of pencils, like, you know, the ones you sharpen. And it came in this perfect like case, and it came with a little sharpener, and it was these pencils. And I said, while we're sitting there in Kentucky, I said, I'm never going to use these. These are so great.
Yeah.
I'm never going to use them. And he looked at me. And he was like, then it's a waste. If you never sharpen the pencil, it's a waste. So for the rest of my life, I'm like, I got to sharpen the pencil.
Yeah.
If you don't sharpen the pencil, the whole thing is trash. But it's so perfect. It's not. It's now the anchor. It's a weight. It's a golden handcuff.
That magnesium lotion has one job: to lotion my magnesium-less body. If I never use the lotion, I don't own the lotion.
I know. The lotion owns you, but thank goodness it expires. At least we have that
to break me from the chains of magnesium lotion.
I don't know if anyone remembers in my get a speeding ticket era that I've since graduated from.
Thank you.
And then I had to go to the thrift store and volunteer for community service. And they had me work the cash register, which I'd never worked a cash register before. I hope no one had to balance those books. I said, I don't know, buddy. The door didn't open. So in front of it, they had all this, and I'm just going to call it what it is, crap.
They did.
Remember, thrift stores all donated stuff.
One man's junk. It's another man's treasures.
There was a puzzle of missing pieces, and a lady bought it. And I was like, this is going to be the most difficult puzzle you've ever done in your life, or the easiest one. But there was these lotions from Bath & Body Works. From Bath & Body Works, when it used to have the...
checkered.
Yeah, what was that? What's that material called?
Gingham?
Gingham. It used to have the gingham thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I know this stuff. When I looked at it, I looked at it and I said, this is separated into the separate oils that make up a lotion. I threw them away. Listen, if you want me to pay the $2 for that, I will.
But here's the thing. We love the idea of stuff. When we pay for something, to throw that in the trash is debilitating.
Well, you just threw away money.
You just threw away cash. You literally took $2 out of your wallet, looked at it, and tossed it in the trash can. Yeah. It's so hard to do. But we are putting ourselves in these positions because we're falling for the awesome marketing, the FOMO, everything like that, without doing the numbers behind it. What set? I have no silly goose set on my books, and I'm booked out till August. So would it behoove me to buy the silly goose cutters? Probably not.
I'm going to say, and we're not done with our list yet, so if your toes haven't been stepped on, just wait.
Just wait. We're coming for
A lot of this is solved by investing in marketing because marketing makes the world turn. Marketing produces the income that allows you to reinvest.
Mm-hmm.
If you buy before you market, or if you buy before you plan to market, you're already operating in a negative.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've got to chase that. You have to catch up, but what if it doesn't, right? So marketing first, planning how to market first, and then investing, a whole vibe.
Right.
And they may not be a pre-sale type person because I know there's certain bakers who like that and certain bakers who don't. But let's say if you're a customs person, if you are a cookie class kit person, or if you're a DIY kit person, there are strategies that fit that for you. Next one, machinery. I love machine.
Heather loves technology.
I don't know. Some about, one, their packaging.
You've always been a techie person.
Yeah, I don't know. Something about that little film that comes off.
There's nothing like it. Nothing like it.
Sally. I need to buy something. Can we go to Best Browse? Machinery. Okay, so I have some examples. Eddie, 3D printer, and Indie Hydrator. Corrie and I obviously talk up Eddie. They're obviously a podcast sponsor.
Yeah.
Corrie makes money from them.
Yeah.
Okay. They are not for you if you're just getting started right now.
Right.
They are not for you if you have not planned on how to. So somebody will always get this question once a month. Hey guys, I'm thinking about buying an Eddie. What should I know? And I said, Eddie is not an if you buy it, they will come. It's if you buy it, or if you buy it, market it, and maybe they will come.
Yeah.
But it is not in any reverse order. It's not that Eddie brings in sales. It's that you brought in sales and Eddie helped you.
I know.
So you see what I'm saying? You brought in sales. How did you do that? Marketing. How did you do that? You worked, you planned on it, and then you invested in Eddie. So I said to somebody last month, create an Eddie business plan. Pretend you're taking out an SBA loan.
Yeah.
How would you convince me as the loan officer to grant you this loan to purchase this? That is a strategy. Because what is the loan officer do I need? I need you to pay me back.
I need you to show me that
you're... Pay me back
you're...
and then some, right?
Yes.
I need to make sure that you know that how you're planning to pay me back.
I know.
And that's what your business also needs to know. So you're not taking out the loan, right? But you need to have the same strategy. Well, I'm going to buy this and here's what this is going to look like.
You're going to say to Heather, the SBA fake loan lady, I'm going to go to 4 businesses that first month and print cookies in their logos, but I'm going to go meet with the business owners and tell them what Eddie is.
And then I'm going to say, great, now we're going to do the next one.
I'm going to create a Facebook ad.
You see how solid this sounds?
Yeah.
This is the strategy that pays for Eddie. Now, what we don't want is for you to buy an Eddie on credit. He's a hefty $3,000.
Yeah.
Interest rates on credit cards could be upwards of 30% at this point. Like, I'm so sorry. We're talking about an additional $300 just right off the bat, not compounding that.
You get the Eddie. He sits in his box because you didn't allow for the learning curve that Eddie does have. There's a software there.
Right there is the altar call. If you have a machine in a box, you have a problem. What am I going to tell you to
go through my
do?
brain and see what I got.
You have a Cricut in a box, you have a 3D printer in a box, you have an Eddie in a box, or if you have all these things collecting dust, you are a part of you expanded before you expounded.
I know.
You do not have to suffer any longer. I want you to write up a business plan for that thing. If you're listening to this, post your business plan up in the group.
You don't have to get rid of it, but make a plan.
Make the plan. This month, I will write up my plan. I don't say you have to open the box yet.
Yeah.
You don't, he's sitting comfortable over there in the box. You can leave him in the box. Write me up the plan. Then you're going to have to open the box.
Plan number 1, I'm going to schedule my free call with Eddie. You get 1 hour, and I'm going to go over every single hour, how to turn them on, how to set up the program, how to attach my printer to my computer. That's my month 1.
Right. Let's say with a 3D printer, I bought it. I bought it during the Black Friday bamboo sale, right? I just put together Corrie's. It took me 20 minutes and I was recording it and talking about it.
And you know what? He's sitting on my desk.
Right. You never called me about putting the film in.
Oh, I know.
I know that film in is dry.
I said, every time I passed, I was like, you are going to be my burden.
You're my machine in a box. But okay, let's say the 3D printer only takes 15 minutes to assemble, which is basically 15 seconds in the scheme of life.
Yeah.
Assemble it.
Right.
Same with Cricut. Corrie and I found this local ladies teaching Cricut certification classes, like how to get started with Cricut.
Yeah.
If you have a Cricut in a box, take that class.
Yeah.
Right. So we're going to start taking these cost sinks and we're going to make them cost investments.
We're going to change it.
We can still do that. You can turn the ship around. Corrie had dehydrator, and I say, I thought dehydrators are important. Corrie said, fan first.
Fan first, man.
Fan first. There's always that cheaper option. What is that? Etch-a-Sketch? Or what do you guys call it?
Smart Sketch.
Smart Sketch. So, okay, we know that the product gets better with the
projector.
But there are, even though that Etch-a-Sketch thing is like
it's ballooned in pricing.
Yeah.
It's still cheap.
So maybe go, I don't know, you have the phone. Okay, whatever. There's smaller costs we can take on before we invest in that massive cost. Or you can say, listen, Heather, I really think I need that projector, that higher end one, and that's going to need an Archon mount as well. Okay? Yeah. I'm going to say, okay, what's the business plan? Pitch it to me. I'm going to let you buy it. I'm your SBA loan officer. How are we going to make money? How are you going to pay me back and then some?
A dehydrator is a great buy if you're going to focus on higher amounts of orders that you need to push through real fast, or last minute orders.
You can be a last minute baker, of which that's a whole strategy. Yeah. You have a different setup than the pre-sale baker, but you're going to say, okay, then I'm going to get the dehydrator because that's my focus. Here's how I plan to bring in my last minute buyers.
See,
Heather.
Yeah. If you're not focused on that and you're taking 1 to 2 orders a week and you're not rushed, they're like 1 dozen each, dehydrator is not going to be the number one thing you need to buy. I don't turn my dehydrator on every week. And it's because I'm taking the right amount of orders. I'm not taking all the last minute orders. That is how I built my business.
But Corrie's able to throttle orders because marketing has always been a constant. Yeah. I think marketing, and obviously we're a marketing podcast, so it's very, very, very biased towards that. I think marketing makes the world turn because you can have the best product in the world, and if nobody knows it's for sale, it's the worst product.
For sure. You can be like, I'm going to be the last minute baker, but if no one knows you take last minute orders, what's the point?
Right. Lucy Q, she's a local lady.
Yeah.
I see her recommended a lot when people are like, I forgot to order a cake.
Yes.
And she's like, I'm a last minute baker. And now they found each other, but not for lack of her having to push that narrative a lot.
Absolutely. And it's just so many people recommend her because she will be one of the only last minute people who can take a cake order in 2 days.
You know how I know she's a last minute baker? On threads where people say, I've waited to the last minute, instead of all the bakers chastising them that they waited too long, she'll be like, there. She's like, I can do help. This. And it's a whole strategy, and she works late hours.
Yeah.
But that's where she said, I really thrive in this niche, and that's where she gets a lot of leads. I was thinking about this. Back to the SBA loan. I had stupid in my 20s, right? I wanted to buy a motorcycle.
Yes.
And then I bought a motorcycle. It was too big.
Yeah.
So I needed to buy another motorcycle.
That's insanity.
So I took out loans on motorcycles.
Crazy.
I took them out. Of course, this was an interest rate. It was like 2%.
I know.
I went to the bank, and then a month later, I went back to the bank. The same guy sitting there.
He's like, hello.
And I said, I'm so worried. And he said, listen, and I had the spreadsheet of like, you know, what this all looked like, all the numbers written out, all the VIN and everything, and the insurance. And he's like, when people are that planned, we know they're going to pass because they're so preemptively ahead of the loan. And I think that's what bakers can do too. If I can say like, wow, look how planned out your marketing is, Ron Setti, I'm not going to be worried that you're not going to make your money back. Mm-hmm. But if I see you, I just bought it, and I'm like, and what? I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you possibly just wasted $3,000.
Right. Because if it's going to sit there and you don't have a plan around it, you're going to be Eddie's number one villain. You're going to be like, that was a waste of money.
What? Your printer cartridge is expired.
Yeah. Roy.
Right. He's gathering dust. There's updates being pushed out. You're well behind on. So you got to do that. Same with the 3D printer. Same with the dehydrator. Okay. Final one, courses. And I'm going to spin this one towards us, right? Marketing courses, I think, are exempt from this. And the reason being because marketing helps everything else.
Oh, but I'm going to say, if you sign up for the Cookie College and don't take it, you're going to...
So open the box, open the Cookie College box, and take that one class. There's a bunch of really, really, really simple classes.
Because we know it's overwhelming to learn something new. That's why we have the Cookie College private Facebook group. It's the baby step to get you into the Cookie College courses. Right. Because from there, you can ask your baby step questions.
And somebody will be like, oh, they talk about this in the course.
Yeah, which is a fantastic way. That's why we were like, if you sign up for the college, get into the group. The group is there to help lessen the overwhelm, so you open the box.
Every second Monday, I also open the box with people, and we go through how the Cookie College works and courses I'd recommend starting with. Okay, but back to that floral course.
I know.
Buying courses, delectable. Fun.
You do like a Procreate course, don't you?
I'll be taking one. I haven't bought another one until I take this one, the 15th through the 17th. Kawaii creatures.
Yeah, cute.
Okay, but let's say skill set courses. Awesome. Because you say, after I take this course, I'll be this kind of baker. Mm-hmm. I'll have this kind of skill.
I know.
But if you don't take the course, that is a loss.
I want to tell you, I've been going through a course, and just the stuff you have to buy to get through the course. I bought the stuff. That was the easiest part of the course. Ooh, I'm gonna buy more stuff. Now I have the stuff, and I'm like, wow, this is going to sit and stare at me until the course is taken.
Yeah.
Which is a burden.
So you got to take the course.
Yeah.
The way you can do that, I've kind of implemented. Ashley does, our older sister, got a Finstagram. If you guys don't know that, it's an Instagram for your personal stuff and not your public brand.
Yeah.
And she said, I said, oh, I love these photo dumps that she does. She makes one a week, and she's counting down the weeks of the year. And she was like, the next one, I require a Procreate drawing from you.
Oh.
So I was like, oh, okay, great.
Feet to the fire.
Building that in, building
fire.
these things, building yourself in a treat, or telling people, hey, this would be a risky one. I'm going to offer this floral set, and you have to take the floral class to get there.
One time part of my life in my early 20s, I wanted to be a personal trainer. I bought...
You and your dream.
Yeah, I bought a $1,500... It was a course and a test. NASM. Be NASM certified. You know what? That NASM certification had an expiration date on it.
Smart.
Year.
One smart.
Came and gone.
I know.
Never took it.
But at least it haunted you.
It's haunted me, and it's been 20 years.
Yeah, that's. So how can you build? One time I said I want to do a fitness competition, and my ex was like, you just want to be... I said, I just want to say I could.
Yeah.
I want to get in that level of fitness. And he was like, right there, you just avoided having to do it because you didn't sign up.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, shoot, my toes hurt.
Even signing up, though. But here's the thing. You bought the course. Now you have access to your calendar. Block out a day. There's no orders on that day. I'm not doing any extracurriculars on that day. This day is dedicated to learning florals from this class that I bought.
You're going to tell you to do. I was listening to podcasts, and they were like, don't even let the phone be in the room with you.
Yeah.
They said the proximity of the phone affects your distraction.
Yeah.
Take your Apple Watch off,
Yeah.
girl, and lock yourself for 2 hours. Set a timer.
I know. The great thing about a course, and to make it more bite-sized, some of these courses out there are vast and large and 20 hours worth of content. If you're like, I want to learn florals just a little bit better, you can focus on the floral. I just want to learn lace, how to do edible lace. Focus on that. Get something out of the course.
And then it's still a value
because
added.
it's overwhelming to say 20 hours is in front of me and I just don't know if my attention span. But if you're kind of like, I learned edible lace from that course, and I think it did pay for itself because I've used it on this amount of sets since.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
I typically buy an audiobook, and I feel obligated to listen to the whole thing through. But not all audiobooks are made for me. And I feel like guilty, like, I'm going to be But I think, did you learn in the couple of pages, did you learn anything? Did you learn that time is better spent not on this book?
Yeah.
And that, not all Target trays are for us. There's a point at which you're like, well, listen, girls, thanks for coming to the crime scene. I've already done all these things. Like we said,
girl,
open the box.
With you, girl.
Open the box, take part of the course, sell the overspend.
Yeah.
The cut or buy sell trade groups, there's a dozen of them. And
absolutely.
There's people that you're going to say you got to eat the cost. You're like, okay, I made a mistake here, but I can recoup some of that.
If I don't even, what I actually have been doing for the past couple of cookie decorating classes is bringing cookie cutters I know I will not use and giving them away.
Cookie class people, the attendees, they're like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you serious? And Corey's like bringing like bags for them to take, to use, to take this
here's
stuff out.
these bags, sprinkles that are going to expire before I use them. Let them go to the new home.
I think people are like, but they're expiring. Those people could care less that some of those cutters had no idea what these shapes were.
And I didn't have any idea either.
They were double fisting them.
But what a way. There's a local community group for your baker. Like there's a lot of local baker groups. That would be a great way to get a new home and a new chance at life for the stuff you're not using.
I know hoarding is like a mental disorder and progressively could destroy somebody's life. But a lot of it, it's like, it feels good to buy, but it feels so terrible to put it
horrendous
to see it.
Yeah.
I think getting rid of stuff in a buy nothing, sell nothing group, while it's like, but this is cost, the freedom of not seeing it is also a value. Yeah. It's a phantom one. We can't touch it.
Here's the thing. All this podcast was a lesson for me. This is something, what I've done is gone into TJ Maxx's and Ross's without my wallet. To walk into a place that is so centered around FOMO, and if you don't buy it now, you're not going to get it later, and not have the option to buy has made me appreciate the fact that I can appreciate a nice box, but I can't buy it. I don't even have my credit card on me.
I'm like, I've got an issue. I don't go to those stores anymore, and I love them. The same way I have to uninstall TikTok.
Yeah.
Which I'll be honest, this week I didn't uninstall because I'm not sure it's getting banned. I don't want to be locked out again. So I logged out of it.
The Sephora sale happens twice a year, every single year. Without fail, it's twice a year.
Something in you has clicked this year.
Yeah, I am tired of stuff. My house is clean, but if you open a drawer, used to before I've started this, it was filled to the brim with stuff. Like the house looks clean, but I'm surviving through cupboards and cupboards of things. And I don't like it. I don't like not knowing.
When did you move into here? 3 years ago? Uh-huh. Remember when you said, wow, there's so much space? And I said, you should try to maintain that.
Yeah.
And when we see space, we're like, I could put crap in here.
I know. So you would walk in my house and you're like, this looks nice. There's not, you don't have anything out. It's the mental thing that I know that there's packaging down there that I've had for 3 years. I had to go through spatulas. I love them. They're easy for people to gift me because when you don't know what to buy a baker, you buy a spatula. There's spatulas I will reach over every single time to get a spatula I like. So guess what? The spatulas I'm not using that are taking up space have got to find a new home.
And Corrie uses the community group she runs to donate a lot of that stuff.
I love it. And it has a new home.
A new home with somebody who may be fighting their own battles, but it's not your battle to buy.
Here's the thing. All these companies that cater to bakers do run sales. And it's because they're businesses as well. You've got to do the math behind the product to make sure that the product is a viable option for your business. It comes down to a little math work, not the fear of FOMO. If you need to unsubscribe to some of your favorite places, you have to do it. Sometimes they get back in there and I'm like, oh, where are you been up to? Right. Yeah. And you're not alone in this. This is something that I suffer from too. I love the idea of Corrie selling pre-sales, but I hate selling pre-sales. So who am I? Corrie, what are you?
Right.
Finding and figuring it out.
Yeah, creating that business plan. This is the type of baker I am. Here's how I'm going to cover this cost, and here's how I'm going to produce a profit from this.
Yeah.
Can I buy it? Yes, you can. I have no plan out this all. I just see it's on sale. I want it. No, you can't.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not even on sale, but everyone's buying it and saying it's changing their lives. Still, no, you can't.
Yeah.
Change their lives, not yours.
How I've been able to kind of reconfigure my brain is if I go downstairs, is there any spot for more cookie boxes?
No.
There's no spot? Okay.
The water lost it, girl. Hold my beer.
So, hey, I got a few spots for you. If there's no room for a cookie box, I can't afford to get it. I don't have a space for it. Right. But what I do have is the space that is being taken up by previous cookie boxes that I can use.
Right. So Corrie had sent me a message. She's like, run an ad to this DIY kit stuff. I need to clear out my 10 boxes.
Yeah. And you know what I said to myself? It was so funny. It was Sugarloaf Mountain was going out of business. They were pennies on the dollar, these DIY kits. I had 10 of them that I've had for 1 year already. And I said to myself, I actually added to cart another 10 because I said, well, I would hate if I never got to have these again. And I said, what? Girl, you have 10 you haven't moved, girl. I said, get exit out of this and go to bed. Yeah. So it's just having those hard conversations with yourself and realizing who you are and who you want to be. As a business.
That's so great for that baker. That baker, I'm so glad that thing sold out.
Yes.
I'm not going to partake, but you and your Target trays look phenomenal.
And guess what? More money's going to stay in your pocket. More money's going to stay in your business.
There's two ways to make money. You either earn it or you don't spend it. Both are a strategy.
Right.
So this is your little budgeting break check, this podcast.
Yeah.
And there's a find that sweet spot. I'm not going to say cut all costs, spend nothing, and then expect your business to grow. For sure. That's going to be a no.
No.
But if you buy everything and do nothing, don't expect your business to grow either.
If you plan to market with the things you buy and you get rid of it, which is the goal, if you have the 10 DIY kits, to sell the 10 DIY kits.
But you're like, what if I sell 12? Then two people, we sold out on that Easter class. People keep saying, can I sign up? Nope.
I know, but you can't sign up for the Easter class, but we do have another class coming up. We'd love to see you there.
Or you can't sign up for the class, but you can grab a DIY kit.
What you're doing is creating FOMO. You're doing marketing by not always being the yes man.
Yes.
I could have kicked myself last October. Someone ordered a DIY kit, and I was like, I'm 1 box short. I did the math wrong. I was 1 box short. So I was like, let me buy 10 more boxes. No. Not only did she end up not buying the kit that she had said she wanted, I had 10 more boxes to sit with.
What you could have done is get in your white box and put some Spideys on it.
Absolutely.
But we're like, we just get in that thing, and it's the brain. It's no one's really wrong. It's just the brain, how it tells ourselves. We surround ourselves. You say you come to the cookie group, the sugar cookie marketing group. You want to learn marketing, and it is bedazzling.
Bedazzled.
I want to buy all the things.
Yeah.
But a little bit, you got to say it's bedazzling for you. It's not for me right now.
Yeah.
I'll see if it can work into my budget.
I know. So I'm getting ready to post these pencil cookies. I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't fall in love with skinny pencils and the boxes that come with them, I don't want you to buy them.
Don't buy that. You're going to post it.
They're going to be cute, don't buy them.
Yeah, I always can tell when Corrie posts some cute reel because it's like, hey, where'd you get those boxes? Where'd you get that cutter? Where'd you get this?
And I'm always like, I don't want to tell you.
Did you plan?
I know.
Or are you just impulsively buying because Corrie just showed
I know.
Remember, Corrie has to produce content.
I know.
So, and she's going to put out some cute stuff.
Arnar. So, guys, that was a come to Jesus moment for both of us. So, I'm work in progress. Proud of my
Proud of myself.
All right, go to the stupid questions.
Okay, we have 10.
10?
10 chances to win a stupid card tray.
Did I go low last time? Because I think I'm going to go high this time.
Little Christmas tree. Red truck was a Christmas tree.
6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where do I access the podcast?
Hey, it counts.
Okay, listen, 847. I'll tell you in an email. Write me an email with the rest of your phone number to heather@sugarcookiemarketing.com. You won the stupid card tray. But to answer your question, where do you access the podcast? There's actually a couple ways to do it, and I've put them all on a webpage on our new website, sugarcookiemarketing.com/podcast. But we are listed on all the major podcast streamers. I'd have to ask, where did you get our number? If you don't know where to find the podcast,
maybe the group, though, because you did post it there.
Okay, well, 847. I'm trying to tell you. I'm speaking to you through I'm putting, manifesting you finding it in the next 7 days. We're listed on all the major podcast players. So Spotify, YouTube,
Apple Podcast,
iHeartRadio.
Someone said they had a little issue on Pandora. I don't know.
Pandora is no longer listed. Something's going wrong with that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and I think it's bigger than us.
Okay.
So I'm not sure you can find it on Pandora. Usually I can see where things are listed. And some podcast players pull from Apple Podcasts pull from Spotify. For sure. And you used to be listed on Pandora, and now it's not even an option in the directory, so I'm not sure if they're not accepting podcasts or not.
Okay.
Either way, if you do not have a podcast player, you could go to there'sapodcast.com. It'll pull up Buzzsprout. That's our podcast host, and you can listen for free directly from there.
That's great. Or you can watch it. YouTube.
On YouTube, the playlist is called Watch the Baking It Down podcast.
Nice. We thought some people like just to have it playing, on YouTube.
I'm going to be honest.
Sure.
I prefer to watch it than listen
Really?
to it. I don't know, seeing the interaction.
Yeah, maybe.
Something about it.
I like watching YouTube videos, for sure.
I can see when you roll your eyes at me. Yeah.
Good. Glue that in there.
Okay. So Israel from Minnesota, you didn't win, but you could win next week by just texting in another question.
Yeah, nice.
But I'm going to read this question. Hey, I just want to say, besides the fact that I want to win a stupid card tray, that I can't thank you enough for introducing Royal Batch. I love how it looks and tastes, and it's easy to work with as well. As much as I hate mixing RI and preparing piping bags, I love flooding and decorating with Royal Batch. Also, Corrie, thanks for the tip. Take off 1 tablespoon, as it gives me the best puffing I've ever had with any other meringue powder. Thank you again.
Awesome. Yeah.
So explain this.
Royal Batch, they are a podcast sponsor, so I'll just get out of the way. Royal Batch is a meringue powder, and there's so many different types of meringue powders. Your cookie journey is going to be determined a lot by the one that you choose. I had tried them all. Royal Batch has been fantastic. It whips up bright white because there's already white food coloring in there. There's vanilla extract, so it tastes great. You don't have to add anything extra. And there's corn syrup in there as well, so that means it is a softer bite. The reason why I love it is it's silky smooth when you're using it. And my tip that I've learned that works for me is taking out a tablespoon of the 1/3 cup that the back of the package recommends, because it allows it to crust a little slower. So if you have issues with, a little candy kiss or an air bubble, you can work it and fix it before it starts crusting over. So it gives me more time to work with it.
Don't you have a theory for icing bleed too?
If you want me to post that, if you want to text in and I can post it in the baking group, how I make the icing exactly, I don't mind sharing it. I've saved it to my notes that I use it so much.
This is me verbally texting in. Please post in the baking group. Okay, last text, not a winner, but you could be a winner next week. Just text into 57155655644. Hi, twins. Is there anything you don't think you could sell? Like ice to an Eskimo type of situation. You always say, just change out the noun in marketing and it's the same. What do you think is the hardest thing to sell? I think bad products are really hard to sell.
Oh, absolutely.
Corrie and I
have customer service.
Corrie and I have told clients who have really bad review profiles that it's not something that we think we're capable of working with.
Here's the
not
thing.
market a bad attitude.
You can bring so many leads to a person, but if the person you're bringing the leads to has a bad attitude, isn't willing to work with them.
It's going to circumvent great marketing.
Yes. Yeah, because you're not going to make the sales. You're going to be like, but we're marketing. Where are the sales? I'm sorry, they're getting clogged at this bad person in your business.
Yeah. In the world of online reviews being pervasive,
Yes.
even if you have a shoddy product and you get listed on Amazon, you're going to get those bad reviews. Now, like an example is my grandmother is super susceptible to infomercials. They got her in a headlock, chokehold, whatever those are. They must have been good at one point. Now they're not. But she's still buying that crap.
Yeah.
But when you look now, the product to maximize their sales is going to be listed on Amazon. You see they got the really bad reviews. Blocking out, if you had a bad product, only be listed on your website.
Okay, I want to erase what you just said.
Okay.
The hardest product that we've ever had to market was the Star Rescue Tool.
There is the nicest man
the
that
nicest
walked planet Earth.
Yes.
And he had created this really unique product to help unlock public bathrooms.
For a very niche audience.
It was made for fire departments.
Yes.
And it needed to be purchased by the government.
Yes.
In a large capacity and distributed. It was when you go to the bathrooms and they have the internal locks for like specifically overdose.
Yeah.
Quick responders turning that.
Needed to get it versus in trying to get the door down or saying, can you open the door? This rescue tool allowed them to unlock the door from the outside.
Now you guys are going to say, can't you use a quarter? Exactly the problem. It was such a hard product because so many public restrooms are configured so differently.
And they have different locks, which we did discover.
And the biggest pushback was a firefighter can only carry so much on their body. They're already extremely weighted down with fire prevention.
Yeah, so they're like, why would I not just use the back of an axe and push the door in?
So they were like, when Rob got in that motorcycle accident, they were cutting things they didn't need to cut.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, some of this
Right.
But yeah, I would say that was the nicest person.
Nicest person.
Honestly,
I want to say, if you say that we did our hardest, best 100% because we loved the gentleman.
He was the nicest guy I've ever worked with.
The nicest
person. The product
person.
was almost impossible to sell.
Yeah. And that just trumps everything we just said. That was the hardest thing.
That was the hardest thing.
And we gave it.
I think most things you can find a market for. That one is government-based. Government's already hard to sell to.
Because the price is a big issue.
And that one was a physical product. So it was like you could see exactly how it performed.
I want to tell you, me and Heather had to make a marketing video for it.
So we snuck into a public
The cackle that I cackled.
You know, sometimes when you laugh so hard, you almost think like this could be a medical emergency. I don't know. Maybe it's the two of us trying to film a bathroom, and just to see her little finger trying to make it where I died. I died at death. I think most things can be marketed. Really bad clients, really bad customer service. Businesses who are run poorly with me against the consumer. They're hard to, with the advent of reviews, they're hard to market around. So we just don't even take it on. They're just an easier client to work with than those clients.
Right.
But as far as like
that was the product. That was it. That was our biggest challenge.
That was hard to do. Still, I think about laughing.
You know when they were like a guttural belly laugh?
You had to almost grab a knee.
Like you couldn't even go to the ground because you're in a public restroom.
Yeah, couldn't touch anything, but you just wanted to. That was really hard. That was really hard. Nicest guy though. I can't believe that guy was so nice.
Read us one more.
Okay,
and then we'll roll on.
Just back in the public. Yeah. Hi, twins. I love your recent episode on markets. I'm considering a market. I'm really wondering what's the typical profit range for cookiers at markets. I'm going to say that's a great question. And I would actually ask it in the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group. It's going to be one of those law of averages.
Yes.
Because it's going to be wildly different. Again, the healthy business model is 15%. I think maybe you could scooch that up to 20%. Markets are kind of preconditioned.
Yeah.
But again, that's going to be area specific. It's going to be product specific.
It's going to be event specific because if the big carrier is...
We have a rainy day or we have a day. So I think you're going to have to say, if you want to go to the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group, say, I'm doing a vendor market throughout the summer.
Yes.
Within that range, what is your average? And then maybe even mention where your location is. Because remember, in Australia, crocky's cold.
Yeah, I know.
But here it would be a really hot, sweaty summer. I'm in something where, and then say how often you're going because it's going to affect Because remember, some vendor markets are one and dones.
They are.
You go to those PTA ones, or you do that like this big event. We're doing a circus comes to town, and then you have those consistent Dale City farmers markets.
Yes.
And I think you're looking at two different options there. Did you see what happened? Speaking of this,
What?
Okay, if you guys don't know, at the Cherry Blossom Festival here, it takes this area by storm for 3 days, and you can't touch the tidal basin.
You cannot.
Okay, at the tidal basin, they had some food vendors, which I think you have to get licensed.
Oh wait, is this the
ice cream cone?
Yes.
So there's some laws. I don't think the DC.
I want to explain the amount of people. Me and Heather live in the DC area. We went to the Cherry Blossom Festival once 30 years ago.
I snuck Ruth Ann and Summer to it year 1 of COVID because nobody went.
Oh, see. That was an anomaly.
We're still in the March.
People in this area don't go there because the amount of bodies.
The traffic was 3 hours just to get over 14th Street. To maybe even you're not going in.
You're not. The little elegant photos with the cherry blossoms with no one around it, that's not, unless you're great at Photoshop, there will be a million people in your photo.
Do you see that this lady's taking a picture of her kid at the tidal basin? But the kid, weirdly, the tidal basin has no gates because it's ugly to have railings.
Yeah.
So you could flop a 5-foot drop into this water.
I know.
She's trying to take pictures of her kids. And President Obama's in the background walking past
that's hilarious.
Yeah. But back to the issue at hand. There's some food vendors. I think they're licensed, but there were I think there's a law where you had to publish your prices. They have to be printed, but they hid them.
I just want to say, DC, there's food vendors everywhere.
Massive amounts of food vendors, and the Capitol lawn is just covered with people every weekend. And
Roach coaches, as far as the eye can see,
just everywhere. So this ice cream stand, mobile. This family bought 4 vanilla ice cream cones. 4.
Okay.
When they were like, hey, you go up there and say, can I get it 4 cones? And then you kind of like how much is it, right? And they would not answer her question. But they took her card and charged it. And she was like, how much is it? And they just said next. She's like, I've never been pushed off.
wild. Yeah.
When she checked her credit card, it was $88 for 4 cones.
Are you kidding?
88.
Did someone report them?
Well, she made the news. I read it even.
Oh, they were.
And I don't even go to Tidal Basin. I would say definitely make sure, we got these, the cherry blossoms is 3 seconds you have a chance to see them, and then the rain and wind.
I know.
So that you're going to be able to make more money, not $88, or something that's consistent like the Dale City Farmers Market. You're going to have more of a consistent type of profit margin because you have a predictable amount of product to move.
Yeah, that's a great question for the group.
Well, I would say that's a great question for the group. Get a lot of people in there to answer it.
Yeah.
You can, if you're reading this, anonymous person.
Oh, Lordy. Keep going. Dead air.
If you guys are listening, Corrie spilled her Coke all over the white carpet. Work quickly, buddy. It's stain resistant.
I got it.
Stain resistant.
Keep going.
Oh, well, since she's on her hands and knees, maybe she could use this doll rescue tool. Okay, let me ask this question. This says, hey, professors. That is funny. My stupid question is, drum roll, one of the biggest reasons I get behind posting pictures is because I don't have time. One of the biggest reasons I get behind posting pictures is because I don't have time to thank each person who comments on my pictures. Somehow I've convinced myself that it's rude not to respond to each person, and I've noticed that the more I respond, it drives my picture back up to the top of the feed.
Yeah.
Is it rude, or am I just creating something I cannot obviously keep up with? Thanks, and have a great day. From Eunice, Louisiana. Great question.
That is a fantastic question. You're right. Why beg for more engagement and skip over the engagement?
I need more reach.
Correct.
I haven't replied to anyone. Here's what I tell you. There is a point at which you have to go and live your life, and you can't be always responding.
Yes.
What I try to do for Corrie is I try for the first 24 hours to reply to any comments made then.
Yeah.
And then after that, if we can, we do. If we can't, I let it go from my mental
thing, what I've told myself, because I sucked at that so bad, is before I post another post,
oh, this is a good one.
Let me go back and respond to the comments. A lot of times we're watching TV, It's a great time to respond to the comments. Sitting in the car line at school is a great time.
You guys were asking last week about what a virtual assistant could do.
That's very, very true. And a little comment back. I mean, if you're swimming in 100 and 200 comments, I don't know.
Get it, girl. Teach us. Hey, professor.
But a lot of times if I get 20 comments is a lot for me. Responding to those, making sure I respond to them that time that I posted, coming back the next day, but making sure they're all responded to before I make another post.
Let's say you get behind and you make the other post and you want to go back because it still bumps in the feeds. Yeah. You could say, hey, so sorry, I'm just getting around to seeing this.
Yes.
When we onboard new clients, a lot of times their 5-star reviews were never responded to. We think it's best practice to make sure everyone feels seen, heard, and understood.
Yeah.
So I'll go back. So sorry we missed this. And I just want to say thank you so much. Even though I know years have passed.
Yes.
It really has helped my business that you left this review.
So, no, congratulations. That's great. Great. Your mind's thinking marketing. Yes. We don't want more engagement and then we're not engaging with our engagers.
Right? Like, it is funny. But you're all like, I got to produce content. It is truly a 17 hats.
It is.
You got to produce content. Got to make the stuff. Got to go buy the packaging, but not too much because the twins said it's bad.
Yeah, I know.
Got to go unbox my Eddie because now I feel guilty about it.
I know. Let's hurry because I'm hungry.
Okay.
And I want a
Corey's flipping over tables.
What can I do to get this in?
We're done. Okay. Corrie covered stupid cart tray. Use code stupid at checkout.
Yeah. Sugar. Very close. Very close.
What if we type in stupid? I wonder if he gets them all. Use code twins at checkout. Royal Batch, Bakety Bake. Use code twins at checkout. Mm-hmm. What's Popping Con? I'm going to make a post about it in the group.
Oh,
Use
yeah.
code twins at checkout. $25 off. Core backers rebranded to the Backers Co. Use code sugar cookie at checkout. 25% off.
Yes. Eddie does not have any discounts, but he's a direct-to-food printer. We just talked about him. He prints directly on food. Great if you have the marketing plan in place.
Get the marketing plan in place. Use code full price to pay full price.
Full price, yes.
But if you have the plan, it'll pay for itself and then some. Ask Neiman Marcus.
I know.
Okay, that's our podcast sponsors. Do you have Twinterest? Oh wait, the Cookie College. We've just dropped yesterday. I haven't even posted about it. And I gotta say,
it's very cute. Okay,
the Cinco de Mayo class, which I've called Cookies de Mayo, right?
Nice.
Avocado, don't miss out on this.
We have a chip and sauce. The chip and queso is on there.
Yes, a chip and queso, a taco, a cactus, a sombrero,
a pepper.
Oh, come on.
An avocado, you said?
An avocado.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is all our cookie class kits are 6 cookies for icing. This one, top 3 for me.
Really?
We've been doing this for 3 years.
Really?
There's
What's your top
classes. You know what? I don't even like to teach this one. I just like the class where we go to better together Valentine's Day set from 2023.
Really? What's your number 2? If you said that's your third, what's 1 and 2?
I really liked the succulents or cats class. They're the same to me.
I do like those.
So last year, the succulents class was August and the cats class was June. But if you're like, hey, well, that's last year and we're in the 2025 kits. If you signed up for the class kits today, $63, you get all 5 classes that have dropped. Because it's the 8th, you'll get a 6th class on May 7th, which is Father's Day.
Father's Day.
But if you sign up for the Cookie College, $76, you get all the classes I'm talking about, the 2023, the 2024, and these 2025 classes. You could sign up for a month, download everything, which you're going to have a ton of stuff to download, and cancel. And you got all that stuff. Now it's around $2.50 a class.
I know. That's so much easier to justify when you buy that.
Don't buy the cookie class kits without coming out with a plan to teach a cookie class. If you're saying, well, I don't know how to plan for that, the Cookie College has a course on how to plan for that.
Yeah, how to find and approach a venue. We take it baby steps. So what to email a venue, how to email them.
Speaking in terms of what you can provide them, not what they can provide you, because we would like that cost of the venue to be $0.
Yes. We filmed an actual cookie class and then gave you the class script that we use in our classes.
I would say use that, build off of it. Corey and I used to read it page by page. Now we just kind of manipulate it, and then you'll get those class kits as well, so you can teach exactly these class kits. And then Sweet Pink Olive, the cookie cutter maker, provider, seller, she has some discounts if you are going all in on this. So again, I don't want to tell you teach cookie class money printing season will be upon us.
It will.
This will be cookie class money planning season.
Yes.
And then starting maybe teaching 1 class. I know Corey's working on a free class for you guys. Might be the toe in the water you'd want.
They've never even heard about this.
I know, guys. I'm giving you a little teaser here because you suffered through the altar call. But you could say, okay, I'm not ready to buy everything yet. I want to teach this to 4 people.
Yeah.
Then you're like, okay, that was everything I wanted and more. It's going to be everything that we add in a cookie class kit just for free. And it's going to be our free download so you can get a taste test and then come money making cookie class printing season. You're going to be like, I want the cookie college.
Hand over fist.
Hand over fist.
Do you have a Twinterest? Twinterest? Twin.
I don't know. This is a weird one. I clean the shower constantly.
Okay.
I feel like it's an uphill battle. So I was talking to Ruth Ann about it. Also, I like to clean off the soles of my white shoes. I really, for some reason, my fetish is looking at my old shoe and it looks brand new again.
Okay.
I love that. I love it when Dad is like, did you get new shoes? And I'm like, no, these are actually 8 months old.
Yeah, you do.
I've worn them daily. So I was cleaning off the shoe. I've got a drill. with the drill bit that is attached to a scrubby pad. I'm like, Ruth Ann's shoes are always white. The soles are. And I'm like, there's no way. Like, I'm fulling Max. This is a gym session. I'm fighting to get these stains off the
So what's she doing?
She's like, well, I used something with bleach in it. And I was like, I was using Barkeeper's
ate away at it.
I don't know. The shoes are not lasting long enough to get it. True. So I went to Wally World and I went to the cleaning solution. Like, you get a bleach spray. It's not, I need a paste. I need a paste. So I went to the paste section. Pasty white, you were right there next to it.
Yes.
Then I moved to the paste section and they had it was like one of the common brands, Common, I think.
Yeah.
With bleach in it. A paste that looks like Barkeeper's Friend paste.
Yeah.
With bleach in it. Oh my goodness.
Did you use it?
Yeah. All the elbow grease out the door. That's what she's been using to keep her shoes
that's
white.
Hilarious.
Maybe it's eating away, but I don't care. It looks brand new.
That's true.
Just so I cleaned the shower with it. Oh my goodness.
Really?
Yeah.
I cleaned my shower yesterday too, or on Sunday.
Did you use a bleachy paste?
I used, what is that grout cleaner that we...
Yeah, but that's kind of, I think, just for grout. But you have you have easier to clean tile.
It's very big tile.
She has very small tiles where I'm like, this is a constant battle.
Yes. Yeah, no, mine was way easier. And I never let it get like grimy enough to have to do a ton of elbow grease. My son's bathroom, on the other hand, my God.
I was influenced by that TikTok, that spinny brush.
Yes.
That's how.
Did you get it?
Oh, I've had it. Yeah.
So you like it? In the
bathroom. I'd hate touching dirt, so yes, I love it. Me and the dirt are 6 feet away from each other. Yeah, it really helps take the elbow grease. Like when you really need to. Now, if I combine that with that bleachy paste, I think it would just be walking in a park.
My TwinToes is what Corrie signs up for during the week, and Corrie of the weekend are very different people.
Corrie texted me, and she's like, what are you doing Sunday night? And I was like, news to me. Nothing.
Yeah.
Chasing a cat. She was like, dinner, murder, mystery theater. And I said, where, when? She said, Occoquan, Madigan's. I said, I'm there. So we skedaddled.
We did. We skedadded. We only had a 2-day turnaround. Listen, I did not understand the assignment.
No, this was a date night dress up thing, and Corrie and I looked like vagabonds.
Yeah, people were dressed up as the Roaring 20s in these little flappers, I think it's what it's called.
This is so kitschy. It was so corny, it almost made it eclectic.
I know.
The food was pretty good. The critique is I would have had the acting during the food, but we ate all our food, and then they came out and acted. But it was fine.
I said, these are theater kids who have grown up and they still love the theater. And if you give 100% to something, I can always give behind that.
And they gave 100% while the acting may not win an Academy Award.
It was exactly what it needed.
Corrie and I were laughing the whole time. Yeah. Just at the sheer hilarity of what was going on. And I thought it was a pretty good way. It wasn't the cheapest thing.
No, it wasn't cheapest, but you got dinner. You got Diet Coke, tea, and coffee. It was a 3-course.
You got a salad, the main meal, and a dessert, and then the tea and coffee. And
I thought the meal was great.
And the venue was cute and fun.
Yeah, they did a great job. It was hilarious.
You can see, like, some people on date nights, groups of women, but they all dressed up and then they had a costume contest. Yeah, they had a costume. Kitschy as all get out. But I thought it was pretty fun. I'm
glad we went. Anytime I sign up for something, I have the best of intentions to enjoy it. Then the lead up to it, I'm like, why would I sign up for something I don't like to leave the house? Then we go, and I'm like, I'm glad I experienced that. Midweek Corrie is she's a wild.
She's a wild little lady.
She is.
She's an unpredictable little lady.
She is unpredictable.
I have listened to many podcasts, and they were like, life is so short.
We
can't even fathom it.
I know.
Because it feels like when you're in the middle of it, it's long. And then I was saying, like, COVID was 5 years ago. We can't even act like that was recent.
I know, but it feels like it was yesterday. What's so funny, though, speaking of this, my anti-consumerism trying to turn into a minimalist, I went through the candles that I have, and a lot of us have these candles, and we say, I'm only going to burn this on a special day. If you realize you live one life, today is the special day. You might not get
Corrie
some
rolled her eyes about this. I saw this dude, it was TikTok, but he was like an older kind of motivational speaker or something. He was like, a lot of us see our time as a
hourglass.
An hourglass with the sand falling.
Yes.
He's like, but the problem is we don't know how much sand is on the top. He's like, he said, my grandmother would always say when she was 65, I'll be dead soon, I'll be gone soon, I'll be gone soon. He said she lived 30 more years.
Yeah, till 90 some odd.
He said, my best friend when I was 16 died in a car accident on his way home.
Yeah.
He's like, but both of them thought they knew how much sand was at the top, and neither of them did. So he said, your life is an hourglass, except for you don't know how much is at the top, so live today. He said the pinch point of the hourglass
is the only time. Today is the only day you know you got.
So as much as like I don't want to do things, like Corrie knew I was going to say yes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say no because I just don't. What if I never went and my life ended or my life was nothing or you can't be like, I'm so glad I sat all those Sundays at home and did nothing.
I know. Or I didn't burn that candle waiting for a special day. The day never comes. Would you expire?
On the Burb app?
Yes.
What's it called? Is it called Burb?
No, Finch.
Oh, Finch. You can have now goal buddies.
Yes.
And I have a goal buddy every day with Summer to light a candle.
Oh, that's
So I'm like, every day, what's an hour of lighting?
I know.
My Bath & Body Works 12, 9 to 5.
I love the white pumpkin candle. Here's the thing. They'll make it this coming year again. If I do not burn it, I will just have had it for 1 year.
Burning a Bath & Body Works 3-wick.
Yeah.
An hour
Nothing
a day.
like it.
Takes 2 months
I know.
to burn through.
I know.
So, and I have 3 in the chamber waiting to come out.
You want to know how many I have in the chain? I'm burning through them like with reckless abandon. 10. 10.
Then you're not gonna. But you did good the other day. You wanted to buy one. You said, no, I have 10.
I said I have 10.
You have to burn with reckless abandon to make it so the next, don't they have the 3-week big sale in November?
I better get to burn.
Right.
Better burn it night and day.
Right,
day, girl.
Gotta.
Yeah. So I'm just retraining my brain.
Retrain your brain.
Yeah.
Your 40s will thank you.
My 40s are tomorrow. Will thank me goodbye.